you said that your sister and your mom introduced you to this show?
Yeah, my musical influences were musical theater influences growing up, and my oldest sister Stacy really loved this show. And I remember one of my earliest memories of the show is watching the film at home and just weeping. I mean, the sort of language of this piece. Not only, I also grew up Catholic, so the material felt. It's like going to church every Sunday with my family, and then also watching this story come to life in such a human way. It was just, it's so passionate, and it felt sort of provocative, but I just remember weeping during Gethsemane, and these melodies I think are just some of the most beautiful. It's some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard.
Yeah. Sara, let me ask you a little about the role of Mary Magdalene. Obviously, there's been so much discussion this year about how women are depicted in entertainment. What do you think about, obviously this is a historical character, but also a character who we've imagined in all kinds of forms of culture. What do you think about the way this show treats that character, and what do you intend to bring to her?
I am so enamored with her role. First of all, what I've learned about her in my little bit of research is that pretty much everything we know about Mary Magdalene is incorrect, like the actual historical figure. It's, not to just call out the patriarchy again, but, this was a very powerful woman who basically bankrolled Jesus's campaign and was a really strong, impassioned figure, absolutely a disciple, most likely, had a very deep relationship with Jesus. And so this is, I feel that this is a great honor to get to tell her story. And I just come back, we talk a lot about the concept of just love in the purest form. I mean, she really believes in his teachings in the deepest way. And I think her love is complicated for him, but ultimately she wants to support and help to sort of translate his vision to the world as his follower and his disciple. I think her songs are so iconic, and I've grown up listening to them, and so it feels like she's a really graceful figure, and just deeply is motivated by the purest love.
Yeah. Sara, you jumped off this cliff with Waitress twice. What's it like?
I have found it to be the most rejuvenating and revitalizing experience of my artistic career. I think that I love performing my own music. I have had such a wonderful, fulfilling career, but working in the theatrical capacity was so nourishing for me as an artist. And I think that the big difference to me as an actor who is singing is remembering that your character doesn't know what they're about to say. And that was a direction I got very early on when I was learning, and I wrote the songs for Waitress, so I knew the material. But getting that direction was really illuminating, because as a storyteller, as a singer who goes out and gives a concert, I know what I'm going to say the whole time. Not speaking, but I know what song I'm singing, and as the songwriter, the audience knows that you know what you're going to say. But as a character, you are literally having to, it's a meditation in being present and remembering that these thoughts are occurring to your person in real time. And so you're on the ride that the audience is on. And I have found that has been the key that has sort of really unlocked so much for me as an interpreter of material.
Hi. First of all, I love your purple suit, John.
Oh, thank you.
This question's for Sara. I'm wondering, we saw Waitress when they had the tech breakdown and you did the Little Mermaid sing-along.
That was congratulations.
A lot of fun. Are you working on any another new musical or planning on that?
Not at the moment. There's always, I mean, as I've learned with theater, these things take absolutely forever. So there's a little ideas that are kind of floating around. Nothing that is currently in production at all. But I loved loved working on Waitress, and I would write another musical. I would be in another. I loved it. I have had the time of my life and continue to just feel like this show has been the greatest blessing. So, yeah, I anticipate doing another one, but that shit's hard, yo.
And Sarah, just so it's clear what you're talking about, how long did it take to get Waitress to Broadway?
So we were apparently on a fast track, and it was about 4 years from the beginning.
Really
and that's really fast, I'm told.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Who's next?
Hi. You guys are great. My question for you was kind of going off of an interview that I was listening to of Sarah's, which was talking about how Beautiful Girl was written to your 13-year-old self, I believe. And I just wanted to go off of that and ask you, what would your advice be to your 23-year-old self? And this is open to the panel. And
Are
kind
you
of
23?
Yeah. You guessed it. It was subtle.
Yeah, I was a very awkward kid, and I had a lot of. I wrote a lot in my journals, and I wrote a song that was sort of a journal entry to my younger self, which is, reminding that person that she was beautiful even though she didn't feel that way. I think what I've learned now, I've kept journals my whole life, and when I go read back through all of the same trials and tribulations. I've been having the same problems my entire life. They never change, and really, if the only wisdom I can give myself is to practice patience and kindness with myself and others, to just really understand that most things resolve themselves in time, and the sort of lighter you can hold your life and just find joy and laugh at yourself and not be so precious. I think I gave myself a lot of heartache by being really intensely precious about who I was at any given moment. And it doesn't matter that much. You know what I mean? Like, you get a few years under your belt and you're like, oh my God, I just should have slept more. And had a burger. You know what I mean? Like, just relax. Yeah.
Alice.
Hi. This question's for Sarah and Brandon. How can you compare the rehearsals for Jesus Christ Superstar to your respective Broadway shows?
This is way less props. Waitress is props on props on props on props.
Pies.
You are making so many pies. So actually, this has been a sort of freed up experience. But similarly, yes, the intention in the room and the sort of focus on the central creation is very, very similar. Yeah.
Great. Final question for our four performers. Beyond Jesus Christ Superstar, if you could fantasize about a role that you would play, what would it be?
Oh, God. Well, I did it in high school, so I think it has a soft spot in my heart. But to be Audrey in Little Shop again. It was really fun.
Great.